Welcome to the first annual Mr. Waugh Media Gala here in Hollywood, California. On the red carpet, the stars are arriving, and look who's here already.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Jonathan Steelcock back in action. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Waugh Media, we blowing it up. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, this
Fabulous.
is my new life.
Looking good.
Hey,
I'm Neil or the Bright 201, but you can call me I got the Steelcock.
Oh, and over here, who on earth is this handsome devil?
I'm Antonio Francescos, international artist from Spain.
And what are you working on, dear?
I am working in passion.
Take me now.
Put everything I have into my art. I'm doing erotic figurines.
Oh, and here is the star of the evening. This is Mia J, the hottest thing since sliced bread.
This is my dog.
Who are you wearing tonight? Are those authentic earrings? Are those blood diamonds I see?
What on earth are you doing?
What's it look like I'm doing? Work. You said I was a star, that I was out of this world.
I said we're doing outer space in a Starfield. How do you mix that up?
It's the same thing, whatever. People love me. I'm famous. Look, I'm famous. I'm a star. I have, like, several numbers worth of... I have one simp. One. How many do you have? Probably zero. Okay? Nowhere does it say I have to do anything. So, there. Okay, so today... we're learning how to make galaxies.
Wow, Mia's ego is out of this world, but at least I'm still grounded here on Earth. Today we're going to show you how to do galaxies. Now to start with, we're going to use a gloss black paint across the entire surface of the project. So in this case, it's a tile, but we're going to show you later on, you can use this with tanks, banners, and cloaks. Pretty much any surface you like. Once the black is fully dried, you're going to put paints into two different piles. You want very contrasting colors. For us, we chose an assortment of blues in the first column, and the other is going to have purples, reds, and pinks. As you can see here, Mia is applying some purple with some throwaway sponges we found at the dollar store. Just apply the paint onto the surface and little dabs here and there. It's a little bit harder to see this rich purple color on this black background, but I think you get the gist of what we're going for. You really want to spread them out across the entire surface, like tendrils. Try not to make them touch because we'll be doing so many layers. Later on, those parts can sort of intermingle. But for your base coats, stick with pretty loose ethereal tendrils. For the next layer, we're going to start using some more scarlets and maroon colors. Basically whatever you have on hand. It's going to be your medium color. For the most part, you're only going to be doing about 2 or 3 layers, so decide what is going to be your richest dark base color, your mid-tone, and then pick a lighter one to top it all off. With this layer, she is intermingling the different tendrils together. This one bridges the gap between the two in the void, but you still want to leave a lot of black area for the other colors to go in as well. So you can see here, this is what we got with 2 layers of paint so far. For the final layer of our first column, the reds and the purples, we've decided to go with a bright blood crimson with a little bit of pink in there just to blend the colors a bit easier. Now, this is going to be a very bold color. It's going to stand out a lot more than the others, so you don't want to overpower what you've already laid down. Make sure that when you do apply it, there are still the other 2 clearly visible behind it. This one, even though you're going with a brighter color, go a little bit lighter with the amount on the sponge. Now that the first column is out of the way, we're going to start working with our blues. For this one, we've used a mixture of teals and turquoises and a little bit of royal blue as well. So for this one, you're just going to dab it in most of the areas that you've left open with the black. For this one, we're going a little over-exaggerated. We're applying a lot more than you normally need, but this is so it actually shows up on the camera a little bit better. Now, as you can see here, she's going in a lot of those areas, as I said before, there were already the void. She's doing a little bit, just tiny tendrils that are going to go into the purples and the pinks. You don't want to overpower it, but it does give a really cool effect of the different colors blending together. Once again, you want to go light with this color. Usually I found the first and the last layer you want to be very light with your sponging, where the middle color, that's going to really be eye-catching. You want that one to be a medium application. Does that make sense? I think so. As you can see here, we're now going to go in there with a little bit of the turquoise, and this is going to be applied, meshed out. Don't know what else I can really say about this. We're literally watching paint dry. Exciting stuff, isn't it? So, how's everyone doing? I feel like I should be adding a little bit more to this, but it's literally the same technique that we probably used in kindergarten with some of our paints. And there's only so many different ways I can say ethereal and void. And if I say tendrils anymore, I'll probably summon Cthulhu, knowing me. But, I mean, hey, this is actually looking pretty cool. We're almost done. Hail Cthulhu. Now for the fun part. We're going to take an old, wide brush that you normally use to paint houses with and dip the tips in white paint. Then, with your fingers, you're going to flick it downward onto the subject matter. I'd say get some practice in first just so you figure out how wide the splatter is going to be, and then do a couple layers on top of your tile or whatever subject matter you're working with. Doesn't take very much, and within a couple blasts, you're going to get something that looks like this. Relatively straightforward, and this took only about 5 minutes for us to paint, and we did a couple other prototypes as well. Blended some different colors in here. This was the original one that we put together, and yeah, same technique, slightly different colors. This one was with a lot more gloss. We actually shined it afterwards. We put a full layer of satin on top, and here's a side-by-side comparison. These actually turned out really cool. I quite like these. And so using that same technique, I've used not only a back piece, but on these tanks as well. Now these tanks were my prototypes, so I was still learning the technique. There's a lot more gloss black and less Galaxies, but it's more noticeable when you get onto the smaller Viper jet bikes here from the Eldar range. And my favorite project was Abaddon the Despoiler. I used this technique on his cape. And I think it turned out amazing. It's super simple, it's nice and quick. I think you guys will like this. Good luck.
Sí. ¿Cómo está? Sí. Well, that has been today's episode. I hope that you were, how you say, señoritas, very entertained. Sí.
And if you were, I want you to tell everybody you know. Like, share, subscribe.
Yes. And if there's anything that you want the incredibly talented and handsome Mr. Waugh to make on an upcoming episode, put it in the comments down below, and maybe you might receive the gift, the passion of art from this man.
Yeah, also in other words, do you know anything about contracts?
What?
Can you even read?
No.
You know what? Whatever. Has anybody seen my dog?